Am I the jerk for not replacing a spoon that went missing during a work potluck? My workplace decided to have a potluck and everyone brought a dish. My coworker's wife was kind enough to make 2 huge pans of biryani, crispy onions, and a homemade yogurt, which was delicious. After the potluck, there were leftovers, so we all brought some home, and I guess Dave left everything he brought, including the serving spoons, at work until the next day. After everyone took their leftovers, there were about 2 servings left in 1 tin, so I asked if I could just take the whole tin home. He gladly said yes. I came in for work the next day, and Dave asked me if I had seen the serving spoon he brought yesterday. I said no and helped him look for it in the kitchen, but we couldn't find it. I said I'd double-check the tin I took home. I got home and it wasn't there. He texted me asking about it and I told him it wasn't there. He insisted I check again, and I just didn't respond. The next day at work, he asked about it again. Admittedly, I was kind of getting annoyed because it's a spoon. How expensive could it be? I told him I already checked and I don't have it. He replied, "Well, what am I supposed to do now? My wife cooked for you guys and sent cutlery, and now it's missing. She's going to be very upset and she's not going to want to cook for you again." I jokingly responded, "I'm not sure what you're going to do. I guess we'll have to buy her a new one if this means no more biryani," he said. "Yeah, you will." He asked about us replacing it later that day, and I said, "If you knew your wife would be this upset about a spoon, you should have made sure to round them up and bring them home last night. It's not anyone else's responsibility to replace it. Obviously, it's just a spoon, and I wouldn't mind replacing it, but I have no idea what happened to it. Neither does anyone else, and I feel like his wife's anger isn't our problem. I do feel kind of bad, because she was nice enough to make lots of food for us, but I don't see how him leaving the spoons at work and one of them going missing means we should replace it. Am I the asshole? In my opinion, you have done nothing wrong here. If the utensils were that important, Dave should have paid better attention or just not brought the good utensils to a potluck-style event. Things always go missing in group situations like that, and he should have known better. It's not fair to expect everyone else to chip in for something he should have been more careful with. Am I the jerk for avoiding my partner after they burned a gift from my past relationship? My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years. Overall, our relationship has been good, but there's one issue that's been causing a lot of tension: my past relationship. Before I met my current boyfriend, I was in a serious relationship with my ex-boyfriend for 5 years. We ended things on good terms, but we've had no contact since the breakup. During our relationship, my mother fought hard but lost to breast cancer, and it was a difficult time for me. My ex-boyfriend had made me a locket with a picture of my mother and me inside. This was an incredible gift I cherished, and I wear it every day. When I started dating my current boyfriend, I was upfront about my past. I never told him about the necklace because I thought it wouldn't matter. Later on, he found out because I went to take a shower and took the necklace off. He saw it because it said it was from my ex-boyfriend to me. He confronted me about it. I told him the necklace had nothing to do with my ex-boyfriend or our past relationship, and that it was a very sentimental thing to remember my mother. He seemed fine with it at first, but over time, he started making little comments about it. He would ask why I still had it, and whether I still had feelings for my ex-boyfriend. I assured him multiple times that the locket meant nothing about my ex-boyfriend and was strictly a gift to remember my mother. A few weeks ago, I got out of the shower and found the locket was missing. After searching everywhere, I confronted my boyfriend, and he lied about it to me. I didn't really believe him, but I had no reason to suspect him at the time, so I left him alone about it. A few weeks later, I still hadn't found the locket. He had left for a moment to go get something, and his phone happened to be open. I glanced at his phone and went through it, where he bragged about taking my locket to his friends. I was furious he lied to my face like that. After he came back, I confronted him, and he tried to blame me for invading his privacy. I kept pushing until he admitted that he had taken it and burned it because he couldn't stand the thought of me keeping something from my ex-boyfriend. I was devastated. I couldn't believe he threw away something so special to me. We got into a bad argument. Since then, I've been staying with my sister and her family, avoiding him. I can barely look at him, let alone have a conversation. He sent me dozens of texts apologizing and saying he did it out of love and insecurity. It feels like such a huge betrayal of trust. I love him, but I don't think I love him enough to forgive him after what he did. I feel like I might be at fault because I did look through his personal information. You are not the jerk. Your boyfriend took something meaningful to you, something that was in memory of your mother, and burned it, then bragged about it to his friends. He didn't act out of love. He was driven by a desire for control. What else will he be willing to do out of love? Am I the jerk for saying no to nights out with my family because they keep pressuring me to drink alcohol? I am a 22-year-old female who does not drink alcohol. I never experimented with it in high school or college, and I did not have my first drink when I turned 21. I do not drink at all and never will. I am the only alcohol-free member of my family, and I am treated like a weirdo because of it. My family enjoys nights out with lots of alcohol. Sometimes food is included in these outings. Whenever I am with them, they buy me alcoholic drinks and try to pressure me to drink. I hate it. I really do not enjoy bars or nightclubs, and outside of the few times with my family, I never go. It makes me enjoy spending time with my friends more because they never mock me or pressure me to try alcohol. We also do activities on nights out that do not involve drinking, or at least where it is not the primary focus. It bothers my family that I spend more time with my friends in that way than with them. Eventually, I started saying no to nights out with my family. It got mentioned recently because my friends and I went to this gamers club. A couple of my friends drank, and the rest of us did not. My family saw photos and made a big deal, saying I go to the bar with those friends of yours and not your own family. I told them the gamers club is not a bar and that the reason I do not go out with them anymore is because of their constant pressure for me to drink. They called it nonsense and said I am an adult, and if I cannot handle teasing, then I am in for a very sensitive future. I told them teasing is not mocking me every single time they invite me out because I do not want to drink. I told them they turned it into bullying and coercion, and it is not okay. I told them I have never tried to stop them from drinking or pressure them to stop, but they will not give me the same courtesy for not drinking. I said I cannot even trust them to buy me soda because they keep trying to slip alcohol to me. I told them that is why I say no and will keep saying no. They called me uptight and told me I will regret mistreating my family someday. Am I the asshole? In my opinion, you have done nothing wrong here. Teasing should be lighthearted and mutual, not a pressure tactic to get someone to drink. It's important to hang out with people who respect personal choices instead of trying to manipulate or gaslight. Everyone should understand by now that pressuring others to drink is never funny or acceptable. Am I the jerk for yelling at my sibling that my wedding is not their wedding? I am planning my wedding for September of this year. It's the end of summer and also the month I met my fiancé. My sister Kat was supposed to get married 5 years ago, but her partner died in a motorcycle accident. She was devastated and had a hard time. Since then, she's been very gloomy, and her relationships don't last long. She goes to therapy on and off. When I told my family that I was getting married, Kat was visibly sad. So my mom asked me to involve her in the planning and to ask for her opinion to make her feel part of it. However, she didn't agree with my choice of September, thinking it's a bad month for a wedding. She also didn't like the colors I picked or the dress I wanted. I tried to listen to her sometimes. At one point, she said, "I can't believe you'll be the first daughter my father is going to walk down the aisle." I was gutted by her comment. I'm not having a religious ceremony. My fiancé's best friend got a license to officiate our marriage, so it's not that serious. With that in mind, I'm planning the wedding to reflect our personalities. My best friend suggested that the bridesmaids wear different colored dresses, but my sister didn't agree. She made some comments like, "It'll look like a gay pride parade, and you're turning your wedding into a gay wedding by listening to all of your friends' suggestions." Yes, my best friend is gay, but we have similar tastes, so his opinions are highly valued because they match mine. Last week, we were organizing the entrance of our bridesmaids and best men. In our culture, we call them godfathers, godmothers, and they enter together. I told her that my best friend would enter with his boyfriend. My sister then said my wedding was going to be an absolute circus and that, as my older sister, she should make me see reason. She insisted that two men shouldn't enter the ceremony together because not all guests would understand and appreciate it. Her comments were very annoying and homophobic. She continued with her remarks and even called my fiancé to get his opinion. At some point, I was fed up and yelled, "You're out of line because this is my wedding and not yours. Have your own wedding and plan it as you want." I was very angry, and my mom came from the garden to see what was happening. Kat started crying and went to her room. It's been 5 days and she's giving me the silent treatment. She told my mom that she won't be attending my wedding. It's very annoying. She tries to make me feel uncomfortable. For example, if she's in the kitchen and I enter, she leaves. Yesterday, my mom said I should apologize because my sister is fragile and this topic makes her suffer. However, I don't think I'm that much of an asshole. My mom said that yelling at her was an asshole move, even if I was right. In my opinion, you have done nothing wrong here. Your sister is ruining what should be a joyful time, and your mom is enabling her behavior by making you the bad guy. It's been years and your sister needs therapy to deal with her grief instead of projecting it onto your wedding. Proceed with your plans, and if they choose not to attend, it's their loss. Am I the jerk for telling my future sister-in-law to get professional help if she needs our in-laws to love her? My fiancé had a brother, Benji, who is 31 years old. Benji has a wife, Hannah, who is 30 years old. I am not close with Hannah. I find her extremely overbearing, but I am polite to her when I see her. My future in-laws find her similarly overbearing, perhaps more so because they are very straightforward and pragmatic people. They are polite and fun, but I am under no illusions that they think of me as anything other than an add-on to my fiancé. That is fine because it is the same for me. This bothers Hannah, and at every family gathering, she corners me to compare notes on how hurt she is about something they have done or have not done. I try my best to console her, but I do not really understand what she is upset about. I know it probably stems from the fact that Hannah is no contact with her family due to trauma, and probably thought she could marry into a replacement family. At the same time, I think that is mildly delusional. The problem is she tries to lump me in with her in terms of being upset about the lack of love from the in-laws, and I have to politely tell her to leave me out of it. Last weekend, at a family gathering, she again pulled me aside and said that she had not received any gifts or cards from the in-laws for her birthday. They had sent texts, but that was not good enough. She was unhappy because they sent Benji things in the mail for his birthday. I tried to explain that he is their child, but this did not seem to resonate. She was getting worked up about it, saying she could not understand why they do not seem to express any love to her. I gently said that maybe it was time to talk to a professional, because as much as you may wish for a good relationship with your in-laws, it is a bit unrealistic to expect or feel a deep need for them to love you. If it is affecting her mental health, she should take steps to heal. She did not take this well. She walked off, and she and Benji disappeared. When Benji reappeared, he said I was way out of line for calling Hannah crazy. I explained that I did not. I just said maybe she wants to talk to someone who can help her with these intense feelings of rejection because they are irrational and clearly affecting her. Benji said that is basically like saying her feelings are her fault. I agreed because her feelings are hers and her responsibility. He and Hannah left after that. I normally get along really well with Benji, and I did not realize the topic of therapy was so taboo or offensive, so I thought maybe they were overreacting. When I told my fiancé what happened, he just laughed and said, "Wow, you went for the jugular." You are right, but that was harsh. Now, I am thinking I went way over the line. I come from a family where therapy is pretty normal, so maybe I do not realize that it is a big deal. Is it wrong to recommend people get help? I think you are not in the wrong here. She kept coming to you for advice, and you gave her very sound advice. She's taking this so hard because you hit the nail on the head, and she twisted your words to Benji when she didn't get the validation she was looking for. It seems like she's not willing or able to see her role in her problems with other people, which is the issue that you rightly suggested getting therapy for. If she jumps to calling others crazy for pointing out flaws in her thought process, she definitely needs help. Am I the jerk for telling my mother I want my sibling to walk me down the hypothetical aisle? My mother, who is 59 years old, got angry with me and told me she wouldn't attend my wedding if she wasn't the one to walk me down the aisle. My parents divorced when I was 5 years old, and since then they have not spoken to each other at all. Initially they were amicable with each other, but eventually became no contact during my teenage years. I maintained a relationship with my father as much as I could. However, when I was 10 years old, I moved interstate with my mother and older sister, who is 5 years older than me, and so I only saw my father on holidays. As time went on, the relationship became more and more distant and hollow. I always thought if I were to ever get married, I would not want my father to give me away, considering he hadn't done much to raise me and didn't deserve that responsibility at my wedding. I think the idea of a man owning you until they hand you off to another man is just stupid and oppressive. I am not getting married, and I am not even engaged. I am incredibly close with my sister and I trust her over anyone. She is the only person who has always been there for me. Because of that, I've always wanted her to walk me down the aisle should I ever get the opportunity. During a normal conversation on this topic, I expressed this idea to my mother. It was a totally hypothetical situation as I am not even engaged. She became genuinely angry with me. She said that if she couldn't do it, then she wouldn't want to come to my wedding at all. It turned into a full-blown fight, as in my eyes, my relationship with her has always been far from perfect. And I think she was blowing a hypothetical scenario way out of proportion. She thinks that if it's not my father, then it should be her, or at least her and my sister. I thought she would have found it sweet that I would want my older sister to play that role. I believe we could have just had a normal, non-explosive conversation about her thoughts and feelings, but instead she got angry with me, which in turn only solidified my feelings on not wanting her to have that responsibility. So, am I the asshole for wanting my sister to walk me down the aisle? This alone tells you everything you need to know about your mother. She doesn't give a crap about you. Only her feelings and public image matter, so your choice is 100% correct. It's a way to honor and express gratitude for a person, your sister, who is important to you. But if and when you do get married, is your choice who you want to walk you down the aisle. If your mom wanted that place, well, maybe she should have been a better parent. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.